Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. Willkommen.
But I always feel like bonjour. I was about to go that I don't have anything to say.
When I was a kid,
beginning.
the library at school had a load of welcome on the window, all in different languages. That's why
I remember seeing that, but yeah.
Because I saw them every day for years. That's why in my head I'm like...
Just on a very random note, I 100% want to learn another language.
Yeah, I know. Do you know, I've obviously Italian is the smartest one for me because I'm already partway there. And I've got this Italian set of CDs with a workbook. But I now don't have anything that plays a CD.
You might just have to come to our house.
Yours, yeah. And use your CD player. Because none of the laptops take CDs or anything anymore. And the Xbox only takes Blu-ray DVDs. It wouldn't take a CD, so...
Can we do that together? Can we learn how to do...
Should we learn Italian?
Can we learn Italian?
Yeah.
I
we
genuinely...
can practice each other.
Yeah.
And Antonia, David's aunt, is Italian. So we could be like, Antonia, can we voice note you and you tell us if we're stupid or not?
I might have to ask her to tell us if we're okay. I feel like sometimes saying these things out loud like this is a bit like, woohoo. Because I've done 3 things on here that I said I was going to do. One is the book, one is the course. Now I want to learn another language. The book's in production. It's on its way. So now I'm like, right, 2 more things. Come on, Jack. You can do it. Anyway, talking about voice and, using it and things like that. You having a nice time there dancing? Yeah, I know, I do feel like it's very warm in here, isn't it? It's
very warm in here.
Most definitely. So if you notice it's going a little bit like...
A bit doolally.
Yeah, we're going to blame the heat. Not that we normally doolally anyway. I want to talk about the voice that we stopped listening to.
The voices inside my head.
Well, the actual voice that I'm talking about is the quiet voice that is underneath, that knows when something doesn't feel right. So, your intuition, your sage. Your sage. Yes, in positive intelligence, that's what we do. Because what I've learned over time is that we don't lose that voice. It doesn't, because to lose something means that it's gone. You don't know where it is. It's not that we lose it. We just slowly stop listening to it.
Or it gets, in my case, out.
Sourced.
No, the other voices get louder.
Yes.
So it's like it's still there, and actually the voice of it hasn't changed. The volume hasn't changed, but that's a problem because everyone else got louder and louder.
They all got louder instead.
You can no longer hear it.
Right. Well, my question was going to be, what do you think starts happening when you think about that? Because is it that actually we get so used to overriding it that's what we stop recognising then?
Yes, and actually, I think a lot of this we actually talked about in the last episode. I think tiny versions of this happen from when we're younger. So in the last episode, I talked about my dad making me finish my plate.
Yeah.
And understandably why, with the way he grew up and the lack and all that kind of stuff. But it taught me that finishing my plate was more important than the voice in my head that told me I didn't need to eat it. Yeah, and that I was full. So now I really struggle to hear that full voice now. And I don't know that. Also, I actually noticed when I told you, I don't know if I finished the story. I don't think I did. So this is quite a vulnerable one actually, in terms of the business. So someone I respect as a business owner has recently left coaching, decided that they weren't up for doing sales and that kind of thing. And the louder voices in my head are going, jump ship with them, the ship must be going down, the ship must be sinking. They know something you don't. Like, if they can't manage to get clients, you can't get clients. And it's doing that. My intuition's going, they're just, I don't know,
it's
their
story.
Time.
Yeah,
it's what they want to do.
Yeah.
It could be that they can't get clients. You're right, it could. It could also be that they just don't want to do it anymore. Could be that there's something going on in their life that they need to do something different for. There could be a myriad of reasons that I have no idea. And that little intuition voice underneath, but that she's loud. She was loud this morning. She was loud. That voice, and I think it's that, isn't it? It's like believing that other people have known. But I think other things, medical gaslighting for me has been a massive one because I've been medically gaslit since I was a kid.
Yeah,
like being told that my periods are normal, or that not being recognised for having HG when I was vomiting as much as I was because it wasn't bad enough.
Yeah, when you were pregnant.
So then I convinced myself that I must be wrong. So I mean, and they're quite big things, aren't they? But I think little things like when a kid tells you they're poorly and they want to stay off and you're like, well, no, you have to go to school. Because we know as parents that we'll be fined by the council if our kids don't go to school. And I get why that happens. And I don't think it teaches kids a great knowledge of their own life. The fact that kids can't go for a wee during the day. I actually have this plan for this carousel. It's like things, and the reason it's important is because of this. Things I think we should let kids at school do that'll let them lead happier lives later on. Let them go for a wee. Let them write in whatever colour pen they want. We don't even mark anymore. What does it matter if they're writing blue or purple or yellow? Like, what does it matter as long as they can see it? Plus, different colours do different things to your brain. Let them. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's little things like this that I'm like, let them be moody. Let them be angry. Let them have their emotions. They're at school 8 hours a day. We shouldn't be getting them to suck it all down just to make teachers comfortable.
Not at all. Well, but right, okay. Sorry. So no. I think that's such a good place to, if it's okay to pause, because there's a couple of things that are coming out straight away. One is something that we don't particularly talk a lot about on here, which is conditioning. So we don't use that word in particularly, but the conditioning is exactly what you're talking about. Other people's expectations, the shoulds.
Yeah.
Also, I can't do it that way. When you notice yourself saying that. I can't do that. I must do it. Also, oh my God, but what will other people think?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what. So you think about those examples that you've just given. It's like, even now, it feels like a big thing to me if I write in purple. Just listening to what you said. Oh, I shouldn't write in pink in my book.
I started purposefully in my morning pages choosing a different colour.
But it's interesting because in my head, it's like, oh, no, you need to write in black or you need to write in blue.
Yeah.
And actually, black's more professional.
And red, don't write in red because it's an angry colour.
It's an angry colour.
I'm getting told off when I write in red. Shut up.
Right. Shut up. So it's like, thanks, Julie.
CBT Ted, I know that we like CBT Ted.
We do like CBT Ted.
CBT Ted did a carousel today talking about his kid.
Oh, with the
tongue, the Cheerios.
Yeah, so the Cheerios.
Kid, for context, his kid had a bowl of dry Cheerios, no milk, which I get because Arlo does that all the time. He calls it Grand Special Cereal, by the way.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, because he must have it at your house.
Thanks, Arlo.
And his kid put his face to the bowl, stuck his tongue in the bowl, and got a load of Cheerios stuck, pulled his tongue back out. And Ted and his wife were like, don't do that.
That's not okay.
Yeah, don't do that. It's weird. And the kid was like, why? And they were both like, oh. And me and Dave had this conversation before we had Arlo that we have to catch ourselves from saying no to things that we don't have a reason to. I remember that being one of the things for you when I was asking if we could get Merlin, and I was asking Mum because I was a grown-up, but I was asking because I lived with my granddad who has dementia, and
in the house we were the house owner.
So I was like, one, is it okay to have another dog in the house? Two, are you comfortable that we've got a dog around Grandad? And actually, it was brilliant for him.
Yeah, it was brilliant for him.
But I remember you saying to me, I talked to your dad about it, and we were both like, we don't have a reason to say no. And that was what you, so you're like, so we're going to have to say yes. And I remember that and being like, yes, good. And I'm so glad because I love Merlin. Like, he's such a good dog. But
I think that's a big thing, isn't it? I've got to tell you, CBT Ted, that whole, because what I laughed was the first bit that you wrote was, is it acceptable to eat your breakfast like a dog?
Yeah.
Like, and lick it from the bowl. And that's, I saw that and it did great post, Ted, because it literally caught my attention. And then I did a little bit of looking with that as well. But I think it's such an important thing about conditioning. I did make some notes around this because it feels pressured. And there's a really interesting thing, isn't it? Because bear in mind, we talk a lot about our bodies and about the noticing what happens, and I would link this to feeling overwhelmed because it's like you try to make all these decisions based on this conditioning that you've lived in. And let's just preface this with, we know then there are rules for a reason. Certain rules do need to be adhered to for safety.
And I get really mad when they don't.
And certain rules have just been made up, because actually a lot of rules are just made up by people. And, you know, so it would be good to kind of for us to talk about actually how do you get back to that little voice within. Are there times, so you've just given some great examples where it's like, you know, you can really see from your experience as a teacher where there are just these silly rules that but fascinatingly, so I was training, you know, a couple of weeks ago, wasn't I? And in the training room, what happened, I literally set this up. I was like that, right, just so you know, I'm not somebody that's going to monitor how often you go to the toilet, all that kind of thing. If you need to go to the loo, you know where they are a little bit of a walk. I will let you know when we've got breaks coming up, and if it's a couple of minutes, I'll make sure we've got the timings, all that kind of thing, so that you know what's happening. But please, if you need to go to the loo, if you need to stand up, just do it. Understand what you need in this moment to get the very best from the training. Still, someone was like, I just need to pop, are you okay if I, and I'm like, and then noticed, because I was a bit like, it's okay. And they were like, I don't need to mention it to her. So we eventually got to that point by the third day where people would just go if that's what they needed to do, you know, and then they come back and we catch them up with bits and pieces. But it was really fascinating.
Yeah.
Really fascinating. And it is this conditioning. Because my question to you then is, do you think that primarily, because that was also men, do you think that people recognise when they're following conditioning?
No.
Instead of following what they want?
No. I think a lot of the time it's so deeply woven into the way that we behave that it just is the norm. And I think it becomes shocking to see somebody go against it. And I think the thing that keeps coming into my head as we're talking now is perceived risk. Because we're conditioned to believe the perceived risk. Because even like the kids thing going to the toilet, because I have these, what happens is I have these fake conversations in my head. So I was thinking about the fact that we don't let kids just go for a wee when they need to go for a wee. And I understand that for a lot of teachers, there will be this fear comes up that's like, well, they'll just truant and they'll just constantly try and avoid lessons and they'll miss and I can see it, right? I know it. And I truly believe if we gave kids better autonomy, they would be more focused in lessons and less likely to want to go. I believe that the patriarchy and the way that society is built is that more control is better. More control leads to more compliance. But I just don't believe that to be true.
Of course it doesn't.
I believe relinquish control, and of course there will be kids. Of course there will be kids who push the boundaries. Of course there will. But there are more now. It's a bit like, I'm not going to keep going because there's so many different things
examples
believe that exercising more control causes more pushback.
Of course it does.
Food and like weight.
Yeah.
And like do you know what I mean? There's so many things. So I believe that people get so used to believing the perceived risk. So, you know, like people, if you see someone out in the street who's wearing an out there outfit and, you know, the perceived risk, you're like, oh, you can't go out wearing that. Why? Someone might think you're silly. So? Why are you perceiving that as high risk? That isn't high risk. Someone seeing you look silly doesn't matter. It's just important what anyone else thinks of you. Now, being like, you can't wear that out because my perceived risk is you're going to get hypothermia and die might be something worth considering. But I didn't when I was 18 and living in Newcastle.
No, we had that conversation last night.
Didn't wear a big coat. Do you know what I mean?
I'm northern. I didn't wear big coat. I didn't. I'll say now I do. Yeah, but I didn't wear big coats to go out. You're right. Yeah. All of those things.
I loved it when I got to like 22 and I started taking my coat out and putting it in a cloakroom.
Cloakroom. Felt like you were a grown-up adult. Yeah. So it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's like, I don't think that often we realise that this is conditioning. You know, and I think, because there's a lot of people that I speak to who will say to me, I know, but often it's about what will everybody think if that's what I do.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share this with people because I think it's really important to notice the clues. Where are the clues that it's conditioning? So I made a note of all of them that I've thought of. I should, I can't. People will think are my biggest examples, and that it feels this sense of pressure Go on.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, because I think for me, I don't necessarily catch what I'm thinking very often, but I do catch how my body feels.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing something, or I feel like I'm being pushed.
Yeah.
If I feel like I'm being pushed towards something, or I don't notice the push, but I notice the like, I have this natural reaction because of who I am as a person. If I feel I'm being pushed towards something, my natural reaction is to push back.
Yeah.
I don't like being pushed towards stuff. I'm not compliant. If you tell me to do something, and I'll tell you to fuck off. So if I notice I don't want to do it, that's what tells me I'm being pushed to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like the rebellion. So it's like I go to grab an apple out of the bowl, and I feel this like rebellion against getting an apple, and that comes from this compliance of, you should eat fruit because you should be skinny, because you should be. So then instead of just enjoying my apple, I'm having a fucking
fight in your head already.
Because I can feel it, and it was the push back I felt, not the push forwards for me.
Yeah, because it's a fascinating thing. I mean, even to talk about that, what came into my head when you were talking there was when things really changed for me around food, was that I realised it wasn't the actual thing that was the issue, it was the fight that was going on in my head. And the fact that the more that I, got frustrated with myself, because I had these what were, this is what this looks like in my head. If I wanted to lose weight, this is what I should be doing. If I want to be fit, this is what I should be doing. And I think the biggest challenge we've got now is that we are bombarded by everybody else's opinion. So I think this is
often spouted as fact.
Exactly, and it's not, because all truth is subjective. And that is the whole reason for me why this feels important to talk about. Like, why is it that we lose touch with this voice? Why is it that we stop listening to it? And it is that, what a beautiful example at the beginning, Lauren, without even knowing this is what I wanted to talk about, was where you said the other voices get louder. So it isn't that voice isn't there, and I've got my example of, where things really started to change for me all those years ago, where I suddenly realised I was listening to this person's voice and this person's voice and this person's voice. And then there was a voice in my head, and I literally asked myself the question, well, what do I want? And this voice went, just to stop doing it all. And I was like, okay, I'll listen.
Yeah.
But often the problem that we've got is that we think that, so that felt like a real clarity, but I think that had been building and building and building. And that voice wasn't loud. I've said it loud, but it wasn't loud. It was gentle. And I think often we expect that when it's going to be our intuition, that we just know it, and it's just going to come out of the blue, and it'll be really clear. And it isn't like that. And I think that's why it gets overridden.
Yes.
I think that's the reason why we don't. Yeah. And what happens then is, because we're
you're not practiced to listen to it.
No, of course we're not practiced to listen.
No.
And because we're living in a world at the minute where it's like one thing onto the next thing onto the next thing, we don't pause enough.
It's not enough boredom.
But this is why, for me, these two conversations that we're having in these 2 weeks feel like they fit together, because actually it is that whole practice of pausing, and it feels bloody uncomfortable to do that. I've got to tell you, as somebody who's learnt that, I have ADHD traits and my brain never shuts up, that actually for me the whole thing about pausing and starting to listen to what's actually going on for me. And I just a little aside to add to that, I saw this reel, and it was a lady that was talking about throat chakras. So a lot of the work that I do, and particularly, I've got a really great client who's really noticing for herself physically when something comes up into her throat, and she knows she needs to talk about it. What I've realised that we do, and it was what this lady was talking about, was that when that starts to happen, it isn't always that you've got to speak up, it's that you've got to listen. That actually the first step could be the listening. Now, some of it might be that you need to speak up, but actually if you think about what's going on, and I've had an affirmation that's never left me. My heart listens to the quiet voice within. I would suggest that the voice is in my heart and it's what comes from within me, whether that's my gut or my heart or within my body, and being able to understand that and understand what I'm hearing, I think takes practice and doesn't feel safe at first, because you were talking about risk, perceived risk. It's risky to say, it's risky to say what I need.
Yeah.
I'm going on a retreat in a couple of weeks. I'm absolutely over the moon. I won it. It's incredibly exciting to be going. And I, I'm gluten intolerant. I don't drink caffeine. I do decaf. I don't drink alcohol. I limit my dairy because of the challenges with having no gallbladder and also being gluten intolerant. And I could feel the conditioning was, don't make a fuss. And I did communicate everything but the coffee. In fairness, I'll take my own coffee, which takes nothing to do that. But that whole thing for me of this conditioning of, don't meet your own needs, don't. Whereas actually there was a voice inside of me going, hang on a second. So you're going to sit in discomfort for 3 days?
Yeah.
But bigger than that were the voices that were going, oh my God, don't make a fuss.
Yeah.
Don't be seen as too needy. Because that's what happens. We start to lessen that voice and stop listening to it because the world around us, the environment that we live in goes, oh, you're a bit needy, aren't you? Oh, you're a bit much.
Just realised.
What?
That mine's really clever because it knows that I rebel. So instead of saying don't be needy, because it knows that if it goes don't be needy,
you will be.
I'll go fuck off. Do what I want. But it goes, oh, you want to be easy, don't you? Oh, what is it that you want to be low maintenance, don't you? People like low maintenance, don't they?
Oh, can you see the connection?
Do you see what I mean? So it's like yes, my brain does exactly everything that you're talking about, but it does it differently. It's
slightly different. That's it.
To learn how to get me to do it because it goes, oh, but you know that you want them to fancy you, don't you? Oh, you want them to like you, and it cajoles me into it. I'm like, oh, now I can hear it. That's so icky.
Isn't that fascinating? And
I feel manipulated.
Do you know what's really interesting? Do you know what I saw when you were talking to me? The OK Corral. I saw passive aggressive.
Yeah.
I literally saw because mine goes into I go literally to submissive.
Yeah. So direct aggression, and I'll just go straight into meet you right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back at you with exactly what you give me.
So actually, though, with you though, you go into manipulation, guilt inducing. That's what you really want. Passive aggressive. When it's that kind of thing. Yeah. That is so fascinating to see it.
Isn't it?
Whereas actually, because the assertive thing is about having the respect for yourself, isn't it? And I think that's what we lose. In fairness, I've known this for a very long time for myself. I think this actually began the journey for me.
Yeah.
So the OK Corral, just very quickly, is it's really a
matrix.
It's a matrix, isn't it? It's about the life positions that we go into. And how I learnt it was when we're stressed, things feel pressured, we feel threatened. And the 4 boxes are assertive. And it reflects this. The whole thing of it is that I'm okay, you're okay. That's assertive, yeah? I'm okay. I think that I am capable, worthy and confident of being able to deal with whatever is going on. I also respect that you are too. Yeah, so we're meeting together. It's like a meeting of equals.
That's where we want to be.
100%. Yeah. And that's the invitation, is always to work from that place. Bear in mind that we're humans. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. And we don't. Yay. Until sometimes we notice it and then we have to bring ourselves back. But it's a really great way, one, to work with other people and to notice it. And the other is with yourself. Because, as we know, for a lot of us, we have conversations in our head.
Well, you just found out that mine's passive aggressive.
It is, and that mine is submissive, because I go straight into being compliant. That's why I tell myself what to do, because then I'll be compliant with it and I'll do it. So submissive is the I'm not okay, you're okay. So actually, I don't think I'm capable, worthy and confident, but I think you are. I respect you. Direct aggression, 180. I respect me. I think I'm capable, worthy and confident, and I do not think you are.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time there.
I like when you whisper. Like no one's going to hear you. Especially when you've got
a microphone.
A microphone, exactly. The other one then, the final one, is the one that we've just mentioned, which is the what I learned as indirect aggression or passive aggressive. And actually this one is...
Okay. And you're not okay
I'm
either.
not okay and you're not okay either. And that is the saddest place to come from, because it is the place where actually you don't feel like anybody can help you.
Yeah.
And you can't help yourself. You know, and we end up in there. And what the issue isn't that we go to those places. The issue is, come back to what we were saying before about the permanence. It's that we don't notice it and come out of it. Yeah. We stay stuck in it. And we stay stuck in it because actually each of these are linked to emotions.
Yeah.
If we are in submissive, it's strongly fear. If we're in direct aggression, it's anger. If we're in indirect aggression, it's sadness, fear, and anger. Now, the beauty of what I learned is that in assertive, we do experience all of those emotions.
Just less quick, for less long.
For less long, because we notice them and, and we're able to deal with them and come back out of them.
Just to note, if you ever want to come and talk about this with Mum, you should. And
oh, I love it.
Once you see it, you cannot unsee it.
No, you can't. And actually what I'll do is I'll bring you the ego states as well from so transactional analysis. Those two, bingo, together, they sit beautifully.
I like to watch my husband do it and I'm like...
And do you know the genius of it is you will generally spot where somebody else is before you spot yourself.
Sorry. Go on. And in marketing. You see it everywhere. Because I see it in marketing now. Because you should. You're doing this wrong, you should do this. Position yourself as a saviour. I'm okay, you're not okay.
Yeah, and here's the conditioning.
Yeah, it's fucking
but that we're led to believe that that's the way that we should be doing things, that's what works. So I think what I want to do is just come back, because I'm conscious of the time today, because, you know, we like to talk, don't we? And I've got a couple of things that I want to share, and then I wanted to talk about, you know, how do you and I bring ourselves back to be able to listen to that voice, and what do you need to do with it? So one of the big things is definitely understanding the difference between what's mine versus what I've learned. Yeah, so we've been chatting about that already. And just to really understand it, is I think you use such a good example, is almost like that push and the pull. So if I feel like I'm being pushed inside internally, the chances are it's coming from external. It's conditioning. Yeah. Versus then, it's something that feels like I'm pulling it from within. In that sense. So the other difference then is the noise versus knowing. Busy mind versus quiet truth. I love this one because, you know, if we think about what's going on, how many people say to you or say to me, you know, noise is overthinking. Yeah. Do you ever do that? I feel like I've got another little tick list. I would tick that one. I've definitely had times where I go into overthinking. I notice it now and I bring myself back into my body. But analysing, going round in circles. We actually talked about that last night.
Decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue. One of the biggest things for me about unlocking, I'm prodding the settee as I'm talking. The chaise long, sorry. One of the biggest things for me is I've noticed that in my morning pages.
Sorry.
Is that I recognise that's what I was doing. I was going around in circles.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, how did I not see this quicker? Which is also okay. I didn't, because I was in it. So noticing I'm going round in circles, asking everybody else their opinion. Outsourcing.
Yeah.
Even using the words or thinking, I'm just trying to figure it out. Because what that would indicate is it's all up here.
Or if I could just...
Yeah. And of course, all of that then, you know, if you start thinking that, and this is where we're just bombarded, we feel overwhelmed. And it's because our window of tolerance, we've passed it. So we've all got a window of tolerance, a capacity in our nervous system for how much we can cope with. And it will be different for each of us. It depends on what we've had to deal with in our lives, what our experiences
are. And what's going on in the outside world.
Exactly.
Mine will be far better when I'm not in a menopausal dip.
Yeah. And dealing with a lot of the stuff that's going on and being immersed in it. This is the reason why often though, you know, when I always remember Dr. Lauren and Jacqueline talking about, you know, having this choice to watch the news or not. I notice my capacity, I've got more capacity to deal with actual stuff in my life that needs dealing with when I don't take all of that stuff in. Because that some of my capacity in my nervous system to deal with threat and pressure and danger is taken by that. It's taken by what I'm listening to. It's POTUS, isn't it? President of the United States. I've got a new name, which is grotesque. I just, because I know that, and I do apologise if anybody is a fan of said thing, person. But I
take that apology back.
Okay. No, I feel like, do you know what? I need to understand. This is my opinion. I am not
being that person.
Yeah, I'm not okay with any of those decisions that are being made. I have said this before on the podcast. That though, if I get myself involved in that, I noticed this when we were on holiday in Athens and I wasn't very well because there was nothing to do. And the news was on. My capacity to deal with what was going on for me was massively reduced because that's where I went. If you think about all of that though, and versus knowing what it is for you and that little voice. The difference is it is a simple sense. You just sense it. I don't you know when you say, I don't know how I knew, but I just knew. The other thing is it's not always logical. That's really important because I think that's often why we override it. Well, that doesn't make sense. But it's like, I just know, but that doesn't make sense. I've done that to myself before. Oh, surely I can't do that. Nobody would. The minute I know that that's my intuition is the moment that I can sense, I go, oh my God, but what will everybody else think if I do it? What will happen if I go out wearing, like you just said, wearing that? It's that moment. And it often, your intuition feels really inconvenient. Well, that's brilliant that's what I'm thinking right now when this has just happened. Thank you ever so much, world. So yeah, noise tries to solve, knowing you do just know it with that as well, which I think is really important. We've talked about a lot of the stuff that I've brought in with that as well. So do you know what helps you listen better to the voice within? And is that something that you're doing now, Mark?
Yeah, 100%. So unlocking the artist pages, morning pages, the Artist Way morning pages. Interestingly, because I was thinking like, oh, is it giving me a chance to listen to the voice? And it isn't. The morning pages are a chance for all the other voices to get their shit out. So that I'm always like, I've started writing when I get a bit like stuck. I've started writing, all right, ventilate, open, what you're pissed off about, what you're this. And I let it all out in the morning pages. So it's like all the big voices I let out, because then once I close my book, the little voice can be heard, because I've let the other voices be loud.
Be heard and be heard.
So it's like, tell me what you need to tell me. And I've got a little notebook next to me, because obviously I don't reopen my pages, that I write like things I need to remember or whatever. But otherwise I just let it all out. And then I can close the book and listen to the other bit. The other one is once I'd started recognising the judge and the saboteurs.
Yeah.
Because once I took the time to realise... Because I think it's really, really hard, because we intellectualise so much stuff, and you literally grow up never knowing which voice is yours and what isn't. So you just believe all your thoughts are true. But once I've done PQ, I've started realising, like, if I'm having a thought and it's associated with something in my body, a tension, a pain, a stuck, sometimes I feel sick when I'm and I'm like, hang on, who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you? You can't be, because if it's associated with a horrible feeling, it's generally not my intuition. Because even if I have to do something horrible, or that I don't want to do, like my taxes, like, even if it's uncomfortable, it doesn't come with that sticky, awful, mucky feeling that does come up with my saboteurs and my judge. Because it's like, it might come with I don't want to, but I know I need to. But it's not loud, it's not angry, it's not that, it's just, I need to do. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
Whereas my
100%.
saboteurs are sticky, they're mucky. Like I can see the horrible beast from Room on the Broom, where it's like, it's tall, dark and sticky and feathered and furred. It has 4 frightful heads. It has wings like a bird. It's like...
You read that recently, Lauren.
We're at a point now where Arlo can read.
Yeah, he tells you what the words
are. He's 4. He can read so many books. But he can't read.
No, he's remembered.
But he just knows the words of the books. Yeah. Like the That's Not My Elephant book, he does from start to finish.
Just so you know, he did tell me off when I was reading to him when he stayed at ours recently, because it was his part. And I was reading it. And I was like, I'm so sorry, darling. You tell Gran what bit you want to read. He
says, whoosh, they were gone.
Yeah. So it's the snail and the whale is the one that I had to get it right.
Itchy foot.
Yeah.
He gets to say itchy foot. He gets to say lightning.
Yeah. Anyway, we are digressing. Let's come back, even though I like talking about my grandson. Yeah. Let's come back to, so that whole bit about, what were we saying now? My brain's gone. Because I'm now all I can see is the snail and the whale. Yeah, you've lost it as well now, haven't you? Rewind to back where you were talking about the Room on the Broom, and it was about the judge and the saboteurs and the sticky feelings.
That's it. So for me,
interestingly, check me out having brought us back to that. I know. It's good job I can listen.
Interestingly, it wasn't. Yeah. So for me, hearing that voice isn't about do you know what it is? It's never about arguing with with any of it. Like, when I first started BQ, I remember that realisation that the argument just perpetuated not knowing, like not being able to listen.
I think it's very natural that though, because I notice that with everybody that I work with, is their first reaction with a judge is to tell it off.
Yeah.
In fact, they normally tell it to fuck off.
Yeah.
Is the first reaction, go off, no, fuck. And I'm like that. Okay, what we're going to, and then we talk about what we're going to practice it is, let's get a bit playful with it.
Yeah.
Let's thank it. Let's notice it. Let's just, what is it come to tell us? We don't have to act on it.
Yeah.
It's that, isn't it?
Yes, and I think when you learn to do that for yourself, that's when you learn to do it for other people.
Yeah.
Because other people will come at you in their judge or in their pleaser or in their whatever. But when you've learned to treat yourself and the ones in your own head like, oh, thanks, mate. Like, I really appreciate you trying to protect me from that. It means that when my husband comes at me like, meh, 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 I can be like, I really appreciate that you're afraid of that. Like, I get it. And I think we should do this instead. And then he's less likely to come back at me biting because I've not bit. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
and it's
totally.
Just like...
It doesn't perpetuate an argument.
Yeah.
Because one of you is in a different place. You're in stage rather than it being...
And that's what I do in my head now, is that and I don't do it every time. No. And it certainly doesn't stop me from feeling the sticky. But I just notice it quicker. And I'm back in PQ now.
Yes. Yes.
And loving it.
I've got to say, I'm loving my reps again. Just doing the... I think it's funny because I think it is a really big thing for me is the whole being able to notice it, know it that it will continue to happen, and having the compassion for yourself that actually this is more about recovery and recovering quicker and preempting it. Because I know that that voice that told me that I was living Dad's values, and I just knew it. It was gentle, but it was bloody inconvenient because I was in a job that I loved and I knew there was lots going on around me and that things needed to change, but I fought that for quite a long time. The conditioning, what will people think if I walk away from a highly paid job with a company car and, you know, the position that I'm in? What will people think if... And I did go through all of that. And, you know, it's really fascinating that trusting, you know, 8, 9, 10 years worth of journals where I'd written what I really wanted and what I wanted to be doing, and I didn't have the courage at that time, and I don't even know that I just had lost the connection to the voice again, because I know there's been plenty of times in my life I've had a really good connection to that voice.
There is,
and I've trusted myself, and I think that's what's built over the years. Is that, you know, it doesn't mean that things don't happen and we don't get wobbly, but being able to trust it and come back to it and really listen in is one of the best things that I've been able to do with that. And I think, you know, importantly, it's just developing a little practice. It is consistency. You know, being able to kind of give yourself the break to cut out the noise, even just noticing what's going on for you. You know, I'm realising that I've got, you know, you're saying you're having a little bit of a battle in your head. Noticing, what's the battle? What is it? What feels truer for me? Where do I feel like, you know, you said it's sticky or I feel like I'm being pushed and things like that. So, yeah, I think it's really fascinating, isn't it? When we start to listen.
I think.
Oh, it is hard.
There's grief after you realise all that stuff as well. Because, like, for me, I just had a moment where I was like, I had this intuition before I went and worked at the school in Hartlepool that I shouldn't take the job. But it was such a well-paying job in the area that I needed, and I was so afraid that I wouldn't have got another one, even though I'd only applied to, like, that one. But, like, my intuition was like, don't take that job. And I'm glad I did now, because it's brought me where I am, but that then I was right. Do you know what I mean? And I wish I'd listened to it rather than being like, well, you're so young and you should take the job and you should this and you're, you know, you should be grateful.
When you think about what you've just said, though, because what I saw there was a moment of a conversation that I won't share it all because it was private between you and I, but a moment where you did share about why that really upsets you so much is when you know you're right with something and then you're overridden by the conditioning.
Yeah, I hate it.
Where you think that it's almost like a part of you goes, but no, you should listen to other people and other people in authority. And there is a part of you that does that, doesn't it? You know, or the voice that you've just had that goes, no, you really do want to be easy, don't you? You don't want to cause any trouble. Like, you can see it. You want to be liked. So it's that. And I think, you know, I think that's why that's really important, because actually there's more than one time where you've said to me, I just wish I'd trusted myself.
So many times. And
I think that's the part, isn't it? Because I think it's saying to everybody that's listening that it's not a perfect science, but you can get better at it, more practice, more skilled, more, you know, and you know, the trusting of it.
And the benefits outweigh the risks, because I have to catch my resentment when I've dismissed my own intuition and followed someone else.
You pleased them.
And I was right. And now I'm resentful to them.
Do you know what's interesting? Because this, for me, is the best example of what last time we were talking about, which is so you learn, that's the coping mechanisms that you learn to live with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you, at one point, pleasing somebody in that sense might have actually been the best way to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So, or being the high achiever might have been the best way to do it. But actually now you've got to a point where actually it's not working for you anymore.
Yeah.
The question, does this serve me anymore? And often people don't even know what that is. They're not even aware they're pleasing or achieve. You know, it's about trying to prove their worth.
Yeah.
And it isn't until they start to have a conversation about it that you start to go, shit.
Yeah.
That's what it is, and I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So being able just to start to listen, even starting to notice.
Yeah.
You know, what is that quiet voice that I don't want to have to listen because you're a bit inconvenient and you don't particularly, you know, fit with this idea that I've got in my head of what things should look like.
Yeah, and you've just listened to us. We don't follow it all the time. Sometimes you've got to go against your intuition.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Got to learn, don't you?
Yeah. Of course you've got to learn. Of course you do. And I think that's the only way that you do.
And sometimes the risk isn't worth it. No. Or it doesn't make sense, and you've got, you know, we do it, don't we?
Also,
and then we look back later and go,
you do. It's because you've got to look and think.
Sounded like a donkey.
You did. Bearing in mind my experiences, is that the right thing for me to do now? No. Did you just ER?
Yeah.
We have not had enough Florence noises in the last couple of sessions, actually. Just. Do you think this is a good place to end?
I can't believe I just fucking honked.
Anyway.
Look at Goose.
Like, were you a goose or a donkey? Which one do you want? Pick a side.
Fucking both. That could be what I want. Don't tell me what I should be.
A donkey goose.
Do you know what? I've hit a point where the tension and stuff in my shoulders at the minute, we were talking about this earlier. Is it the earth? Is it the moon? What is it? If I laugh, my head hurts. But it's because the muscles at the top of my neck have been really tense.
It's your jaw.
And it is. I still think that I've got. I don't think it ever goes away.
TMI or TMJ. Yeah.
Temporomandibular joint dysfunction. And
I feel like you need that thing where I know you probably wouldn't let them do it, where they put the hands in and release it.
Leanne Rimes.
Have you seen that? I've seen it on more than one person.
I can't watch it because I'm both intensely jealous of it because I feel like it is what I need, and the thought of someone being in my mouth like that, I think I'd kick them.
I've had it done.
Whoa.
I did it done a few years ago. A great guy called Terry, an osteopath, and he did, and it was.
Google Leanne Rimes somatic release.
Yes.
If you've not seen it,
the Human Garage. That's the organisation are called the Human Garage,
awful.
And there's a lot of good stuff coming from them. Anyway. Right, I think we're going to trust the quiet voice within.
And this donkey say goodbye.
2 blondes and a donkey
and a deuce, a donkey.
Oh my God.
Anyway, bye, love you.
Yeah, take care. As always, let us know what you think, and we'll speak to you soon. Stop.